Hello and welcome, I'm Tafara Gadamu. The Addis Video Art Festival brings what it calls innovative video art to a town. And this week, it has created the platform for the screening of 16 videos from around the world covering diverse themes. But what does it really intend to achieve? Mihret Kebede and Ezra Wube are at the very heart of this initiative that is now in its fourth edition. This is your fourth edition, right?
Yes.
And started this week on Monday. So what are you putting together now?
It's our fourth edition. It's an international video art festival. We've been doing since 2015. It is a collection of video arts from 16 artists from different countries. The call was out 3 years ago, I would say.
I would say
right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, so we had around 600 applicants from 86 countries. So we only selected around 16. So we have 2 artists from Ethiopia representing. So that's what we're showing now.
So you need to put that call out 2 years ahead of time?
Yes, yeah. Our festival would like to be responsive to current conditions, and in previous editions, we since it's screening in Addis, we would have more phenomena that's happening in the city. But this this edition, we were right in the middle of the pandemic, so it's really this global impact. So we focused our edition theme on COVID-19 and its impact and influences, and how artists are responding to it. And so that was 2 years ago, and we sent out an open call, just asking for artists to sort of process this experience, this new historical period, and how artists are coping with it, responding to it, reflecting it, and that's how we got these submissions, from 86 countries. We had lots of submissions, and we watched all these over 600 submissions, and eventually selected 16 works we thought was most innovative and really reflected the content. And it's from 11 countries, including Ethiopia. And we were planning to screen the program last year, but COVID still was and wasn't really contained enough, so we postponed it for this year.
So is it theme specific, or is just yeah? Go ahead.
So we have the theme here, Merarak Abronet, apart together. So that was the theme given to the artist.
That sounds like a contradiction.
I know, yes, but it's evolving within the two terms actually.
Dialectic of it, yes.
Yeah. There was a chance for people to to get together through internet, some technology apparatus, but at the same time there was this distance between us all over the world. So this contradiction and a way of living becomes a theme for them to just experiment on.
So you send out this theme to potential contributors to your sessions across the 5 days or 6 days that you're organizing this event. So they put together their own works of art accordingly?
Well, when we sent out the open call, so yeah, we usually have the theme, and then we have a title, like apart together. Is it so sort of we're being close to human touch and all that experience. It's it's such a human aspect, and suddenly you can't touch, and you have to have 2 meters or 6 feet away from your brother or sister, and it's just a new position. So in a way, but it's also recommended and required in a way to do it to stay healthy. So that kind of a simple contradiction of we all kind of isolated, but at the same time everyone is experiencing it. Everyone is experiencing globally, everywhere, any part of the world, and every corner, we're in kind of the same position. So that was the theme we sent out, and artists just responded how
to that specific theme.
Exactly, how they responded, and we just eventually viewed the work over a few months period, and then selected the works. But coincidentally, we had guest artists invited by Mihret, who had a theme called Apart Together.
Yeah. So I'm based in Vienna. So there are these prominent artists from Vienna. They are artist duo. They're a couple, but they have an artist name called Prince Pod. So their work process is called Apart Together. They've been working together for 40 years, since 1984. So coincidentally, their theme of work process was matching with our theme, like festival theme. So that's how they became very interested to come to Ethiopia with all their expenses to join the festival. So we were really happy to have them here.
So they came with their product?
Yeah, not only them, there are also another filmmakers, like a couple called Wild Art Film. They're also part of our festival. So we have like 4 artists came to take part in this festival from Austria.
Tell me about the contribution. You have a number of films, some experimental too. You're screening a few already.
Yes. It's so basically, some could be like really directly, could be like the subjective experience, like the day-to-day, and sort of like could be like the artist trying to communicate with their like life partner, but they can't be together, they separated. Something like really subjective. Some could be more like they could be more like poetic gesture, like they could be thinking about like nature in contrast to like human conditions. Some also like maybe talking more broadly about just like historical perspective. We have an artist sort of comparing like early civilization to like where we are right now. So yeah, some could be quite abstract, but ultimately it's still responding to the theme. Some could also be just sort of doing an escape type of practice, kind of sort of like defying these restriction of like, you know, we're required to stay home. Some just doing like a plein air type of work, just doing an hour work outside, but kind of being solitary at the same times. So yeah, we thought all these kind of diverse perspective we thought would make the work more interesting. So it's not just literally like translating the COVID experience, but it's sort of from this impact how our artists responding it by sort of looking within to the subjective, or looking out into a more broader societal experience, or historical perspective, or our connection to nature and relative to our conditions. And so yeah, all these perspectives we thought would be interesting, so that's how we selected. Some responded in even like sort of like a performance dance way, like physically kind of performing. It's a kind of a dance type of form, in a way kind of this sense of like urge to express this impact through like movement and like rhythm and gestures. So we thought that will be interesting addition to the collections.
And also films that make political statements, like for example, Silencing the Gun. That was produced, I think, last year, correct? When we were in the heart of the Civil War.
Yes, yeah, that was by Mikael Hailu. He's an upcoming, like, promising artist, graduated recently from the art school here. So, I mean, his work is really great. And then the simplicity of, like, the costumes and the elements that he used as a sound and a visual element was so powerful. So, yeah, that was just to comment on, you know, calling for peace to come to our country, you know, following the crisis that we've been experiencing. So, I mean, that's a magnificent art work that I would say.
Other than the couple from Vienna that you just mentioned, and a filmmaker, who is actually participating in this week-long extravaganza, if you will?
Yeah, we have like 6 artists came to take part.
From outside of Ethiopia?
From outside of Ethiopia. Like 4 artists from Austria and 1 artist from Canada with the origin of Ethiopian background, right?
Yes.
Yeah, based in Canada and all the way from India. Yeah. So we have 6 artists present now.
So these foreign participants have come up with their productions, with their works of art, with their work, right?
Yeah, actually, one of the artists from India is from this list, the selected artists, but the others are like they have a video art festival, for example. The artist and a film producer, is from Canada, and they have their own festival. So we usually have art festivals, like video art festivals, to participate in our festival. So they came to show their festival.
And we have a few from Ethiopia, correct?
Yes, we have a couple of artists, but we would like to have more. We always give at least three space for, selected space for Ethiopian artists. But it's so we're also one of the reasons we're doing the festival is like to really encourage, because it's video art is like very accessible. I would say it's the most accessible form of art, because you don't really require even computers, or you don't require like canvas or studio space. It's a very mobile, very affordable, but also very impactful. You could have global audience. It's a very powerful.
If you have the idea that clicks, right?
Exactly. It's all about the idea, and we all have phones. We could be able to record video, and it's really about being creative and taking advantage. So we really want to encourage that. And it's not like it sounds video art. It sounds very like a new media. It sounds sort of like maybe like something fancy or something like that. But it's not. It's really. I'm pretty sure like most of us have like some videos on our phone we recorded. It could be a very good video art. We just don't know it. We're not thinking in that context. So it's just a way to like encourage and they could be able to submit their work and show it like, internationally, get invited, just make life from it. Because that's really what happened to my own experience as an artist. Once I moved from painting to like new media art, is just the world was like a lot wider. Yes.
I would rather assume that there would be a lot more Ethiopians who would be willing to participate in this, but what we rather see is just two of them.
Yeah.
Why is it?
It's a kind of new media to introduce. Not for the world, actually. Since 1950s, the video art emerged. There are a lot of video artists. But coming to our country, it has to do with how the country is doing, It's not like a single part that you want it to be developed. It comes with the whole structure and the whole understanding of the art. So the accessibility and the possibility of bringing that platform to the art scene and to the art school is what was needed. So when we first started in 2015, artists were excited to join in, but since it's a new media, it was really hard for them to produce art piece with the video art. But it was actually, like Ezra mentioned, it's like an easy apparatus that you have at hand to produce something, but they just make it in their mind, it seems a bit complicated for them. So looking at yesterday's workshop with the art school students, they're very excited. The hall was really full with the students. They're excited. They've been producing an instant video arts that Ezra asked them to do. So now we're hoping there are promising artists to be taking part in the next edition.
How many Ethiopians were interested out of the 600 submissions? Is not submissions, but showed interest, right?
From submissions, I believe we had like 4 submissions only from Ethiopia.
So how do you sift those submissions?
The 600 submissions?
Yes.
We just watched like all of them for hours, hours and hours, and eventually like we selected best ones and like best ones and kind of narrowed down. So yeah, it was a lot of work, but we're actually.
It sounds like it requires a huge bureaucracy, a whole workforce, if you will.
Yeah, we're actually eight of us. We're 8 as a team member of Addis Video Art Festival. Are 8. I'm the organizer, and Mihret is the co-organizer, and then we have other team members who help us select. We'll call them jury. They basically like look at work, and we divide the submissions into 8, and each of us like select like maybe like 3 out of our 100, so or maybe like 75 or something like that. And from the 3 we combine, and eventually we see all together as they all come together as a curatorial program. If we feel like some piece maybe doesn't come together with the other selections, we might just take them out. That's how we sort of narrow it down to like only 16.
Was it fun doing it, or is it cumbersome, difficult enterprise?
For me, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun to do it. Not only fun, but it's a learning process.
Meaning?
Yeah, because, like Ezra said, like each artist responds to the theme. And then we are in a world of inequalities in this capitalist world. So the concerns and the ideas that the artists are working on are diverse. So looking at all those artworks teach you a lot about the specific country or the specific space. So for me, it's a learning and a process at the same time. Enjoying it, watching it, yeah.
So Addis Video Art Festival, have you created that institution, or are you just volunteers coming together to do the job? How does it function?
I would say it functions through like lots of collaborations between like individuals, artists, and curators. Even the medium is like a very generous medium. Most artists most festivals they don't charge, for example. I mean, they charge, but we don't charge. Submission is free. We all volunteers, and we work with an institution based in Addis, national, like local, also international institutions who can host our program. So it's like a collaboration, like volunteer festival, and no one. It's also we present it for public for free of charge. It's really educational, creating this platform for an idea of exchange and collaboration. So yeah, that's really how our approach is for the festival.
So have institutions come aboard in helping you?
Now, we had to reach out, We had to go and ask them if, for example, there are some cultural institutes and art school. Not only that, this formal institution, we also have like a Mihret Kebede next to the art school.
It's a restaurant, a small restaurant.
It's a very small restaurant. She's been like working with art students. Like actually, they made her start cooking, but she was only having a coffee ceremony there, and the art students go there to have a coffee, but one time they asked her if she cooked something for them. That's how she started it. And then she's been like serving the art students with like almost very, very little price. And she's still going, and that's one of our venue of screening on Friday, 12:30. So yeah, there are these informal spaces that we've been showing. And we also have collaborated with Studio Olafur Eliasson, based in Berlin. They're also our collaborators and supporters of the festival since the start. Yeah.
We also collaborate with the Ethiopian consulate in New York.
Yes.
That's how I could be able to bring like projectors, because we have to bring these particular projectors. They're like really functional for the festival, so they write us like detailed letter, support letter. So yeah, it's really a collaboration of like local, international. So it's been really helpful.
You normally showcase your works in different venues, right?
Yes.
Rooftops,
Yes.
the streets, and so on and so forth. You didn't do that this year.
Yeah.
You're pretty much confined to the art school, to Alliance Française, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, when we started in 2015, we were actually having 10 days screening places, like one day in the gallery and one day outdoor, like you said, rooftops and big billboards, and on the streets and the bars, like on the asphalts in Mercato and Mesalemia, and construction sites. Arat Kilo, we'd be like doing it here and there. So, but as the situation becoming tight, it became really difficult for us to take it outside, and even to have a permission to screen it outside, because let alone video art itself is like becoming. I mean, it's hard to I mean, to convince some responsible people what it is. Yeah.
Well, the reason I raised that question is this. I mean, you aim to kind of create or generate some kind of dialogue, right? And the best way to do that is to come out and be visible. And those venues are much more important than the auditoriums and so on.
Yes, certainly. I think, I would say the accessibility of like the everyday person, it's really our goal. Just reaching out every person, because the art institutions or cultural institutions could be, you could have like a very particular audience, or in a way, I wouldn't want to say like privileged, but they have like access to these spaces, knowledge about it. So it's more kind of selected audience. But the outdoor screening it's very important because you reach the everyday person that normally would be interested in maybe going to Modern Art Museum, but because of that video, maybe that individual could be interested in going to Modern Art Museum. It's just this accessibility and kind of taking down the platform or the pedestal, and instead it's reachable. But again, it's because we have to get the view, sort of like this is video art, so it's not entertainment, or it could have entertainment aspect because of video movement and light, but ultimately it's not entertainment, and it's not a commercial or advertisement. So it's art, which has very open interpretation, and to explain it to the addressing offices, it's a bit difficult, and convincing them what it is about and get the permission. It's a long process. So we're kind of waiting that eventually to lift off someday, and we actually just go back to the public space as much as possible.
You think you have succeeded with the last 4 editions? Now This is the 4th edition. Considering what you set out to achieve, did you think you have succeeded creating that dialogue, that discussion, that conversation? Yeah,
I mean, having it like this far is by itself, a success for us. The continuity of it, because we're like individuals, like interested individuals coming together. So we don't have, like, if you say like a financial support, we're just doing it ourselves. So that by itself is a success. And also when you bring a new media to the public, to introduce it and becoming known is like a step forward. So I would say it's successful, and in the future we're like looking at like some promising artists coming out from the art scene.
So are you getting the support that you need, that you require, from government offices and from private businesses in this country, or you're just limping?
No, I mean, we always want the art to stay independent of any influences. At the same time,
but nonetheless, you need the blessing different institutions to let you do what you want to do.
Exactly. At least we need like the understanding of it. For example, like in 2014, we were about to have this public art performance outdoor. So we had a hard time to introduce or to convince the government official what it is. And, unfortunately, the art program and the art training that we had is all the terms are in English. In art school, for example, we kind of don't have that term translated into Amharic to convince the government officials. For example, performance art, or we're doing a public art, and we had to say like it's a kind of a bazaar on the street. So they immediately understood it, and then we had a space to do it. So these kind of things, it needs some work, but it's coming.
So you're happy that you've made a difference so far?
Yeah, I would say we're happy. We're creating like almost like a system. Like there's a community that knows us, and they're available to support us. So we're building up, like, I feel like, reputation. We're being known. Establishing this trust, so that's really great. So again, I think ultimately to reach to present our work in public space, that's really our main goal, and that's hopefully will happen, maybe hopefully in the next edition, to have that support from the government or local officers, so we could really continue what we like to do.
Well, good luck with the next few days. I guess you have 3 more days?
Yes, so today is Wednesday. We'll be having a screening at Ntoto, Mount Ntoto, where Ayob Kitaba and Henuk Malkamzar Studios compound is located around 6 p.m. And tomorrow we'll continue with the screening at the Ali Institute Française.
And you'll have a workshop as well.
A workshop
in the 10 a.m. workshop
in the morning with Shimpi from Canada.
Guest director.
Yeah.
Yes. And then on Friday we'll have a screening at the Cultural Institute, Fendika Cultural Institute, and at Umuyes Shore at 12:30. And on the 31st we have it at Atmosphere.
Yes, we have.
And our closing is at the Jimat at Jibet, January 1st. That's a new year.
Yes.
So come by. It's like next to Atinaud.
Yes, we get a free drink.
School, we get a free drink. Yes, I'm Miskilo. So that would be really nice to have you all.
Yeah.
Good luck and thank you very much for joining me, and keep it up. Thank you very much indeed again.
Thank you very
so
much
for having us.